So now the cheetahs have made Kuno as their home. The cheetahs from Namibia are settling well, but we have so less information about this gem of the Vindhyas, the Kuno National Park. So let us begin with understanding what is the intricacies with respect to Kuno National Park. And I have already covered about the cheetah reintroduction project in our in-news series. Now we will talk about the Kuno National Park. The broad guidelines for understanding about Kuno National Park will also include the Project Lion, which talks about reintroduction of lions in the Kuno National Park, along with other important areas which have been acknowledged for their reintroduction. We will also talk about Asiatic Lion, because why not? It can come in your examination of prelims and mains as well. Flora and Fauna, to understand the basic geography, we are going to look at a question as well with respect to the segment. Moving on, let's talk about the geography of Kuno National Park. As you can see, Kuno is situated in northern Madhya Pradesh, and it is the gem of the Vindhyas. Vindhyas of Central India is the division in which it is situated. It is situated within the Kuno Wildlife Division of Shivpur district of Madhya Pradesh. Remember the district as well. And the park takes its name from the Kuno River through which it flows. The Kuno River, as you can see, is flowing and giving the name of this particular national park. As earlier you can see, when it started as a wildlife sanctuary in 1981, it used to look like a leaf. After that, more and more areas could get into the adjacent regions to become a national park. So Kuno River originates basically in the Kuno National Park only, and it originates from the Shivpuri and Guna district of Madhya Pradesh. It's a tributary of Chambal. You see this particular map, this is the Kuno River, okay, and this is going into the Chambal River. So it's a tributary of Chambal if prelims question is asked, and it goes along the areas of Shivpur, finally makes its way to the borders of the town called Morena in MP. Okay, so this is just a brief discussion about Kuno. History with respect to Kuno National Park and Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary. Earlier it was Wildlife Sanctuary, then it was a national park. One of the Gazette of the Gwalior Princely State of the year 1902. It recorded that the Mughal Emperor Akbar captured a big herd of elephants while coming back from the Malwa, and that was done in the forest near Shivpuri in the year 1564. So of course there is a mention of it which can come in your history prelims paper. Abul Fazl also mentioned this fact that the lions were found in the region. Another thing is that the last lion in this region is noted to be shot down in the year 1872. Earlier it was a wildlife sanctuary. In 1981 it got itself registered as a wildlife sanctuary with just 350 square kilometer. Sorry, kilometer is missing over here. Square kilometer. It was upgraded to national park in the year 2018 while adding another about 400 square kilometers to it, and it is now 784 square kilometers of pristine forest area I'm talking about. And the park lies within the larger Kuno Wildlife Division, which is much larger than this, that is 1235 square kilometer. Okay, moving ahead, let us talk about another very important facet of it. Now in the year 1904, Lord Curzon was invited for hunting by the then His Highness Madhav Rao Scindia, and when he went into the forest, he immediately suggested that we should bring lions, the Asiatic lions from Junagadh and Gir to be released in the forest. But what happened? The Nawab of Junagadh and the King Madhav Rao Scindia, they were actually coordinating on the plan. Like, we have restored the cheetahs again in India after more than 70 years from Namibia. Similar thing happened then as well. But the Nawab of Junagadh delayed this project and eventually it failed. But during those times, the King Maharaj Madhav Rao Scindia, he built enclosures at Dopkund, so that like we have the quarantine facility for cheetahs. Similarly, back then also there was this idea. However, his initial efforts went into vain. Then Lord Curzon later, he wrote a letter to Maharaj Scindia and saying that the letter should be addressed to the leader or the ruler of Ethiopia, Abyssinia, back then it was, to get lions from there. So translocation was even, you can say, envisioned back then as well with respect to lions. Now, a Persian expert named D.M. Zal, he was made in charge of the project, okay, by the king in the year 1905, and rupees 1 lakh budget was given in that year. Mr. Zal, with the support of the king, was able to bring 10 lions from Africa, okay, and certain lions died in the process when they reached Bombay Harbor. And these lions, after which few were left, these lions were later released into the jungles of Shivpuri instead of Kuno. Unfortunately, they were left as man-eaters or cattle litter between 1910 or so. Okay, so Project Lion, it was announced in the year 2020, August 15 is the date, by the Prime Minister. It has been launched for the conservation of the Asiatic lion. Last remaining wild population is in Gujarat's Asiatic lion landscape. That is, of course, the Gir National Park area. So translocation can happen from here as well. But we have to understand certain things about the Asiatic lion. Its common name is Asiatic lion. Scientific is Panthera leopersica. And the height is approximately 110 centimeter. Length is 200 to 280 centimeter. Just get a gist of it. It is listed in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. And in the IUCN Red List, it is endangered. Remember this important fact. Moving ahead, let us talk about them. In India, there is just about 600 number of Asiatic lions available. About 600. Okay. And they are living in the Indian state of Gujarat, Western India. The lowest number of them of Asiatic lions was registered in the 1880s, in which only a dozen could be registered. And erstwhile region, their historic range of movement was Southwest Asia. In India, specifically Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Bihar, Rajasthan, and parts of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, and Pakistan. Pakistan as well was included, and in the regions of India, in the states of India, till here we could see their historical range. The distribution was restricted in the north of the Narmada and west and south of the Ganga River. Okay, remember this. Moving ahead, now the lion relocation has been talked about since 1995. Kuno National Park, a wildlife sanctuary, was identified as an alternative site. Why? Because in Gir National Park, they could see that the genetic diversity is not much. And if any sort of epidemic arises, they could die all of a sudden, which has happened. So that is the reason. With respect to flora and fauna, let us look at this particular information, which is important. The flora or the geography, the forest region of Kuno National Park is dominated by the 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 hair trees. And in all, there is a total 123 species of trees, 71 species of shrubs, 32 species of climbers and exotic species, 34 species of bamboos and grasses. So ecosystem is rich. And they also have southern tropical dry deciduous forest and very dry teak forest. Northern tropical dry deciduous forests are also found, in which northern dry mixed deciduous forest, northern tropical dry deciduous scrub. Then we have edaphic climate. Edaphic basically means when the vegetation is impacted by the type of soil and not by the climate. So it has Anogenesis pendula forest, that is the 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡𝐭𝐢 forest, Anogenesis pendula scrub, which is the 𝐃𝐫𝐢𝐬𝐡 scrub, and Boswellia forest, Salai, and Butier forest, that is Palash. So these are impacted by the type of soil over there. Moving ahead, another very important thing that we have to get over here, because cheetahs, we talked about lions, I know, but cheetahs work very well in grasslands. They need the ecosystem of grasslands. So we have grasslands as well in Kuno, and also savanna forest, dry grassland and dry savanna. In primary several types, we have tropical riverine forest, of which Kuno is an important part. Northern tropical thorn forest is also there, where ravine thorn forest and Ziziphus scrub is found. So you can see the range of flora. With respect to fauna, other than these species, we can see, other than the species we want to reintroduce, such as Asiatic lion, it is of course having the chital, sambar, barking deer, or Indian manjak. Also Indian gazelle or chinkara, black buck. Prey base is very strong for cheetahs and lions. Leopard, wild dog or dhole, Indian wolf as well, jackal is also there, and sloth bear, desert cat, Indian hare, which is consumed by cheetahs, Indian porcupine, gerbil, Indian tree shrew is also there, Hanuman langur or common langur, and rhesus monkey, etc. Now let us look at our question. Consider the following statements with respect to Asiatic lion. It has a high genetic diversity in Gir National Park. It is critically endangered in the IUCN Red List. There are just about 1,000 of them in India. We have to select how many of them are correct. So this is the option. 1 statement, 2 statement, all 3 statements, none of the statements. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Answer this question. I'll take your names.